Hey everybody, what's going on? I'm the Chess Nerd, and today we're back for another chess analysis of a very nice game today. Somebody did not do their homework and forgot to castle, and we're going to see how you punish somebody who doesn't castle. So in this game, was played in 2006 in Italy. Daniel Rivera played the white pieces against Eshan Magami, a Grandmaster today. So an IM against a GM, the GM being the black pieces, who gets massacred. So this is going to be an interesting game. I'm really excited to analyze it with you guys, and here goes. Daniel Rivera starts with e4, and we transition into a Sicilian, so c5, knight f3, e6. D4 takes, knight takes, so far so good. A6, knight c3, b5, and just right now directly, this may be theory, but just off the bat, black has no minor pieces developed and white has two. So black has only done pawn moves so far, and this is going to punish him long term if he doesn't move on with development and castle eventually. So bishop d3, white gets a third minor piece out and prepares for castling now. Bishop b7 castles queen c7. So black's plan from here is just a simple bishop e7, knight f6, and castles from there. And from there, they move on with a plan, usually d5, confronting the center in these types of openings. Queen e2, maybe fixating these two pawns in the pawn chain, and overall that diagonal is well controlled. Bishop e7, black is almost finished with development, and now white confronts these two pawns, so a good plan. And this forces black to advance this pawn. Now, this is a good move, relatively. It attacks the knight, and so white has to move that knight. And not taking that move to attack more of the pieces of the black position or to delay castling for black. So knight f6, so close yet so far. Bishop d2 attacking this b4 pawn. And after d5 here, this is black's first sort of mistake. He should have just gone for castling and developed from there. But this dynamic d5 moves kind of opens the center in a center that he doesn't want to open because his king is still in the middle. And so a move like d5 attacks the center, and white's reply e5 attacks the knight. And now black have preoccupations that they have to attend to, so knight e4. And so what this does, knight e4, it cuts the queen from defending this e5 pawn. So now this queen threatens the middle pawn. Yet white was already threatening this b4 pawn. And so now after bishop takes, knight takes, and queen takes, white have exchanged a wing pawn for a center pawn here. Usually I don't recommend this, but in this instance, once the black queen takes this pawn on e5, white automatically threatens f3 here, pinning this knight and winning this knight after he protects his knight on d4. And so this forbids the black king from castling because we threaten f3 here, just winning a knight. So black have to get out of that pin here, this gruesome pin. And so black does queen d6. Here's a little illustration of what would have happened if black do other moves than queen d6. So if black does queen f4 here, white already has impressive tactics. So bishop b5 check, and if black takes on b5, well, now queen takes b5 check, forking this king and bishop. And after bishop c6, white plays knight takes c6, and after castles, white end up with a passed pawn here on a4, and overall just one extra pawn. Now if on bishop b5 check, black decides to go king f8, well then bishop d3 simply declines, and white has not only one extra pawn here, but the king is uncastled and still in the center. Big advantage for white. Now if black were to foil down to c7, here white have quite an impressive combination, knight takes d5, and this sacrifice is very nice. If bishop takes d5, well then white just have bishop takes e4 and are obviously a pawn up. So e takes d5, and here f3, and pinning this knight. So reminder that black are one minor piece down, but after castles takes rook e8 and knight f5, things are shaping up for white. Bishop c4, really staggering on this f7 square. Some queen g4 ideas coming up soon, and this really doesn't look good for black. They look in a lot of trouble, and all their queen side is very underdeveloped. So this looks very promising for white. And so in view of all that, black plays queen d6 naturally. And here, white play a prophylactic move. So rook fd1, very nice move. So if black castles here, obviously white is going to get bishop takes e4, and after d takes e4, knight b5, double attacking the queen, queen e5, and a nice knight on d6. Now, the author Zenon Franco here recommends this line for black. Although they're underdeveloped in the queen side, at least they get to castle, and this is like the best outcome they get in this whole game, which is quite sad. So that's why Megami does not castle after rook fd1, and instead he plays the mistake queen e7. Now this completely loses for black for one specific reason, which Megami missed in this game. I'm going to leave you 5 seconds to try to decide what is the winning combination for white here. It's kind of hard to find, but let's give it a go. So that's it. Knight takes d5 was played. What a move by the old Uruguayan player Daniel Rivera here, sacrificing a full knight. So let's exploit what happens here. So this was played in the game, but if bishop takes d5, for example, so black has immediately bishop takes e4. And now it might be equal, but black cannot castle once again because of bishop takes d5, and this is pinned, right? So black cannot take back the bishop. White would be a bishop up. Again, black cannot take this bishop because queen takes e4, directly attacking this rook, forcing rook a7, and now knight c6, a beautiful fork of queen and rook. And black cannot take this knight because of queen takes c6 check, and this is just a riveting attack on the king. And this is completely lost for black. I mean, if king f8, queen c8 check, queen e8, and now rook d8, just pinning this queen to this king. Beautiful. And if rook d7, we have a nice little tactic called patience, rook d3. Black cannot castle out of this pin because of just a free rook, and this is just completely losing in and of itself. If king d8, rook a d1, and just killing, absolutely massacring this opposition here. It's not even funny. So black cannot take with the bishop. So he has to take with the pawn here. And after he takes with the pawn, knight f5 comes. And let me tell you, knight f5, if you watch Ben Feingold, is just always a pleasing move for white, just aesthetically. Attacking both the g7 with check and the queen, and also secretly attacking this d6 square. So black has 3 choices here. You can either play queen e5, queen f6, or queen c7. But 2 of these moves lose on the spot, so queen e5 loses and queen f6 loses. We'll see why. So on queen e5, takes, and now just knight d6 check, and we'll leave white with a king in the middle and an extra pawn here. Totally devastating. Second option is queen f6, and after queen f6, we'll just, the same goes. Bishop takes e4, and if here, sneakily, the black pieces play a castling move, now it gets awkward because white have bishop takes d5, and after bishop takes, rook takes, very nicely defending this knight, and again, black has 2 extra pawns here. Beautiful. If queen e5, bishop takes e4, takes, and knight d6 check, and if black castles here and leaves this bishop pinned, well, white have a very nice resource, which is queen g4. And after d takes e4, well, here white have knight h6 check, very nice. And after king h8, we'll just knight f7 check. And the rook cannot take because of a little known back rank checkmate going on with rook d8 checkmate. And if g6 here and not taking this bishop, well, then white just has bishop takes d5, and after bishop takes, rook takes, defending this knight, right, from capture. And if queen takes this rook, well, then obviously knight e7 and royal fork happening big time. And so that said, the only wise move is queen c7 to stay connected and really protect this bishop and also give him chances of castling in the near future. Now this doesn't go too well as well. Just bishop takes e4, and now knight d6 check. Very nice check on the king. This is inevitable, eventually would happen. The king is in the middle. Now, once you have achieved this, you need to attack the center. So you need to crack it open, and a very nice move here. So you have to look at what your pieces are doing. So your rook is protecting your knight is very strong. You don't want to really move it from here, but it's a nice catalyst, and you need to bring your queen in now, because this is not a very defended zone, and this queen move attacks both the f7 pawn with check and queen e5 is the threat. So after knight d7, really just preventing this queen e5 threat, queen takes f7 check, king d8, and queen takes g7, really running a rampage on the king side of black. So the rook needs to move, rook e8, really scraping for pennies here, and white to play and win. A very nice little subtle move, queen g5 check on this king. If the rook moves up, well then just queen g8 and it's made in a few moves. And if knight f6, well then just queen f6, and this is completely dead. I mean, knight b5 coming, and it's the game is over. So after queen g5, Megami resigned and made this game the legendary game it is today. What an attacking game. We could say that Daniel Rivera had him from the beginning. And that's all what I have for you guys today. Thank you so much for watching, and see you next time.